House Republicans just fired the first shot in what could be the biggest political scandal since Watergate. Chairman James Comer is not backing down from holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress over their refusal to testify about Jeffrey Epstein. The Democrats are scrambling, the Clintons are silent, and the vote, well, it just happened. We're going to tell you what happened. But here's something they don't want you to know about what's really in those files. You see, this is not just another political theater show. This is about whether anyone is truly above the law in America. If the Clintons can ignore congressional subpoenas about Epstein without consequences, what message does that send to every American family who's ever had to follow these rules? We've already seen Trump advisors like Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro go to prison for defying Congress. So when it comes to the Clintons and their Epstein connection, suddenly the rules don't apply? Your kids are watching this unfold, learning whether justice is blind or whether it depends on your last name. This vote will determine if we still have equal justice under the law or if we've officially created a two-tiered justice system where political elites play by different rules than the rest of us. Oh, yes, and the vote's in. But first, let me tell you about something that could protect your financial future. If you're over 40 and planning to retire someday, the window to protect what you've built may be smaller than you realize. Here's a question that most people never ask. Is your portfolio built for what's coming next? Many investors in their 40s and 50s discover they have little to no exposure to precious metals. That means their savings are largely tied to markets, policies, and paper assets with very little protection if conditions change. As retirement moves from someday to on the horizon, protecting what you've already built becomes just as important as growing it. And that is where Noble Gold Investments comes in, helping investors reduce risk by adding physical gold to their portfolios. Right now may be a smart time to talk with Noble Gold Investments. No pressure, no sales gimmicks, just clear answers and a strategy built around your goals. Visit nextnewsgold.com and build your portfolio for the long term, or call that number on the screen. Now back to this explosive congressional showdown that is changing everything. Here's what the mainstream media will not tell you. Representative Eli Crane just exposed that Epstein visited the Clinton White House multiple times. And Democrats who screamed about accountability for 4 years are suddenly going silent. Even more telling, you're going to see how one Democrat tried to claim Trump is invading Venezuela to distract from the Epstein files. The desperation is showing. And, well, the committee has now voted. This is how it kicked off, though. House Oversight Committee started the hearing in holding the Clintons in contempt for defying a congressional subpoena. Actions have consequences. And here is the opening remarks from Comer before the bombshell vote.
Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform meets to advance 2 resolutions recommending that the House of Representatives find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with duly issued subpoenas. The committee does not take this action lightly, but subpoena...
You see what's in the background there? Robert Garcia, who sits on that committee. You're going to see the explosive exchange. They have his tweets full blown. No one is above the law. And behind this play button here,
subpoenas are not mere suggestions.
Defying congressional subpoena. Defying congressional subpoena is highly illegal. All right? They are throwing their words right back in their faces. I'm sorry, I just noticed that, and I wanted to bring it to your attention so it was very clear, because this sets the stage for what's about to happen.
But subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require compliance. Former President Clinton and Secretary Clinton were legally required to appear for depositions before this committee. They refused. As Democrat Ranking Member Garcia stated, and I quote, "Defying a congressional subpoena is highly illegal," end quote. He also stated, and I quote, "No one is above the law." Actions have consequences.
Actions have consequences. But now let's get to the official confirmation as the hearing kicks into high gear. House Oversight Committee has begun their attempts to hold former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress. The Clintons refused to testify. The basics establish Washington Times shows us that Clinton's already tried to wiggle out of this and failed. House GOP rejects last-ditch bid by Clinton's to escape the contempt vote. Oh, there they are. Yep. Bill and Hillary. Smug as ever. The GOP rejected their escape attempt. Red Wave Press takes us right to the committee room where the Chairman Comer is laying down the law. Currently holding a markup session on Capitol Hill, debating whether former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton should be held in contempt. Here is James Comer just before the hearing.
Now on Capitol Hill, the House Oversight Committee is debating a bill on whether to hold Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with subpoenas tied to the Epstein investigation. If that passes, it would mean contempt for a former president and a former Secretary of State. Here's House Oversight Committee Chair, Congressman James Comer.
Subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require compliance. The Clintons must be held accountable for their actions. And Democrats must support these measures or they will be exposed as hypocrites. We must do what is necessary to uphold Congress's investigative authority, which is imperative to the legislative process. And we are doing so to demonstrate to the American people that justice is applied equally to everyone, regardless of position, pedigree, or prestige.
Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram. Chad.
Harris, good morning. Well, the Clintons begged off from December depositions due to a funeral, but never showed up in January. And that's why the committee votes on contempt today.
The Clintons are in a fundamentally different category. They had documented relationships with Epstein and Maxwell, evidenced by numerous photographs, flight log records.
Democrats believe Republicans are not targeting the right witnesses.
You see Garcia, when they put that big picture of Bill Clinton getting a massage by one of Epstein's girls behind Comer? You see that? Oh, he looked back. He's like, oh, man. He's like, I'm not getting out of this one. All right, we're going to continue because we're going to get to the vote. But Comer's making the case. But April Culler breaks down the subpoenas are not suggestions. The Clintons were no-shows. The contempt vote starts in the committee. Then House penalty up to 1 year in prison and a $100,000 fine. And it has moved out of committee. We're going to get to that in a second. We have the historic moment when the vote was cast and then Comer's remarks following it. But that's what we're looking at. That's what they're looking at. A year in prison and a $100,000 fine. The penalties are serious. Regular Americans would already be behind bars for defying Congress like this. Congress on the verge of voting to hold Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt for refusing to show up for Epstein testimony.
Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress tomorrow?
Well, neither showed up to a closed-door deposition about the Epstein files last week. They defied subpoenas. Their counsel offered to have committee chairman James Comer and the panel's top Democrat Robert Garcia come to New York to interview the pair. Comer rejected that. He says the Clintons think they deserve special treatment. Brett?
Chad Pergram live on Capitol.
No special treatment, though. And now the bombshell numbers. How many times did Epstein go to the White House? 17 times during the Clinton presidency. How many times did Mr. Clinton fly in Epstein's plane? At least 26 times. House committee meeting on holding Epstein's in contempt over Epstein investigation. No show. Check this out.
Mr. Comer, how many times, Mr. Chairman, how many times did Mr. Epstein go to the White House? In your recollection, sir?
According to the evidence that we've obtained, it appears he went 17 times during the Clinton presidency.
Is that more times than you've gone to the White House, Chairman?
I've been member of Congress for 9 years, and fairly high up on the pecking order. I've been to the White House, I believe, 9 times in 9 years. So he went to the Clinton White House double the number of times that I've been to the White House in my entire congressional career.
Mr. Chairman, how many times did Mr. Clinton fly on Mr. Epstein's plane?
At least 26 times, according to the flight logs that were subpoenaed from the estate.
Right.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Those were 4 different trips, 4 trips, and every time they regassed the plane, they counted that as another trip.
Yeah, really? Oh, because they're fueling up. Because they're fueling up. That allows him to fly on the plane. Oh, 26 times. Okay, so take out the time for refueling, what, 20 times then? Yeah, that doesn't change the fact that he was on the plane. The Epstein connection numbers are damning. Watch how Democrats are scrambling to protect the Clintons. Western Lensman caught one making a very ironic argument. California Representative David Min defends the Clintons, says that bringing criminal charges against the former president would be a very serious matter. Right, Congressman? Doing something like that would be unheard of and totally crazy. What planet are these people on? Bringing criminal charges against the former president would be a very serious matter. Does anyone remember what they did to President Trump? The entire time that he was getting ready to run again? The mugshot? Does anyone ever forget that? I don't think anyone has. We haven't, but apparently they have. It's insane. But I'll let you hear from him. I'll let you hear the insanity for yourself.
And again, while I think that the Clintons should be here, what we're proposing here is a very serious matter, bringing criminal charges against a former president of the United States. And I listened to you very carefully, Chair Comer, for the last hour, and I heard you describe them as delaying, as dragging their feet, negotiating for 5 months. But I never once heard you say they just outright refused to comply with the subpoena. And dragging your feet is not the same as noncompliance. It's not the same as contempt.
Good luck with that, buddy. Yeah, keep living in your delusional world. Democrats are playing defense with weak arguments, so Chairman Comer goes nuclear, calls them out as hypocrites to the official House Oversight account. Comer slams the Democrats during our markup to hold Bill and Hillary in contempt.
Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform meets to advance 2 resolutions recommending that the House of Representatives find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with duly issued subpoenas. The committee does not take this action lightly, but subpoenas are not mere suggestions. They carry the force of law and require...
Okay, so I want to get to the Garcia exchange, but we really need to get to the breaking news that just came in. And this is the moment that the House Oversight passed the bipartisan resolution holding Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt. And then we have Comer's remarks directly after the vote. So accountability is here. No one is above the law. The resolution is now sent to the House for the vote. Here is the moment the vote happened. This is history you're seeing on your screen right now. This is the history that we've been waiting for. This is the lock her up, lock them up moment that we've been waiting for.
The question is now on the amendment in the nature of a substitute to the William J. Clinton.
Now, I want you to pay close attention here, because in the next couple frames, you're going to see the actual vote come in. You're going to see who voted for what. Okay? It'll be right on your screen, so pay very close attention. I'm going to make it full screen for you so you don't miss it.
Contempt report. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment in the nature of a substitute to the report is agreed to. The question is now on favorably reporting the William J. Clinton contempt report as amended. Members will record their votes using the electronic voting system. The clerk will now open the vote on the William J. Clinton contempt report.
There it is. You can see the votes coming in. Garcia, Brown, Khanna, Mfoum. You see all the red ones?
Have all members been recorded who wish to be? Okay, we're waiting on one more. Has everybody voted now?
Yes.
Okay. Does any member wish to change their vote? The clerk will close the vote and report the vote total.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 34, the nays are 8, with 2 voting present.
Pursuant to this, the The ayes have it. Pursuant to this vote, the committee hereby favorably reports and adopts this report recommending that the House of Representatives find William J. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a subpoena duly issued by this committee. We will move to the report to the full House. Without objection, the motion to consider is laid upon the table.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to House Rule 9, Clause 2.1, I just ask that members have the requisite 2 days to file with the clerk of the committee supplemental, additional, and minority and dissenting views.
Without objection.
Thank you.
Without objection.
You got.
The question is now on favorably reporting the Hillary R. Clinton contempt report as amended. Members will record their votes using the electronic voting system. The clerk will now open the vote on the Hillary R. Clinton contempt report.
Wow, looks like Hillary got more no votes than Bill. Wow.
Clay. Have all members been recorded who wish to be recorded? Does any member wish to change their vote? Seeing none, the clerk will close the vote and report the vote total.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 28, the nays are 15, with 1 voting present.
The ayes have it. Pursuant to this vote, the committee hereby favorably reports and adopts this report recommending that the House of Representatives find Hillary R. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a subpoena duly issued by this committee. We will move the report to the full House. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Oh my goodness. Lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up. Now it's going to go to the full House. That is going to be the moment of truth. Now, that was just a committee vote. Next, the House. And now we're going to see where the real lines are drawn. And we have the majority in the House. So the Clintons, they're screwed. They are screwed. Jail time. A year in prison. $100,000 fine. Oh, yeah. Payback's a bitch. Buckle up. All right, here's Comer's remarks following the historic vote.
All right, well, thank you for being here. Today was a big day for accountability. I'm very proud of the work the Oversight Committee has done thus far on the Epstein investigation. I'm very happy that we had a bipartisan vote today to hold the Clintons in contempt of Congress, and this shows that no one's above the law, and I'm just real proud of the committee and look forward to hopefully getting the Epstein documents in very quickly and trying to get answers for the American people. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, there it is. There are his remarks. It's game over for Bill and Hillary. But that exchange I promised you is fire. And this one here, this one, the Land of Illusion writes, what the heck is this demon even talking about? She says Trump invaded Venezuela to distract from the Epstein files. They are beyond delusional.
And the question that I got over and over again from my constituents is what is in those files that is so bad that President Trump is invading Venezuela, threatening our NATO allies, and sending thousands of armed paramilitary troops onto our streets to create violence and chaos in American cities. That is what the American people are actually asking us.
Is that really what the American people are asking? No, that's not. They're melting down bizarre distractions. Representative Eli Crane cuts through the noise with the hard questions that matter most. Democrats ignored Epstein for years while they controlled Washington. Now they claim to care about the victims, yet downplay Epstein ties to the Clintons. Shouldn't we investigate someone who frequently hosted Epstein at the White House and traveled on his jet?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, this committee hearing is about whether or not we're going to hold the Clintons in contempt of Congress. I strongly recommend that we do, especially in pertaining to the release of the Epstein files and trying to get to the bottom of what exactly went on there and how Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to continue doing what he was doing and abusing so many people for so long. It's interesting when I look at the history of the Congress and look at the fact that Peter Navarro, former Trump trade advisor, who defied the January 6th committee subpoena, was sent to prison for 4 months. Steve Bannon, also a former Trump advisor, defied the January 6th committee subpoena. He was sent to prison for 4 months, and several others. So it's going to be really telling to see how my Democrat colleagues vote on this one. Mr. Comer, how many times, Mr. Chairman, how many times did Mr. Epstein go to the White House in your recollection, sir?
According to the evidence that we've obtained, it appears he went 17 times during the Clinton presidency.
Is that more times than you've gone to the White House, Chairman?
I've been member of Congress for 9 years, and fairly high up on the pecking order. I've been to the White House, I believe, 9 times in 9 years. So he went to the Clinton White House double the number of times that I've been to the White House in my entire congressional career.
Mr. Chairman, how many times did Mr. Clinton fly on Mr. Epstein's plane?
At least 26 times, according to the flight logs that were subpoenaed from the estate.
Right.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Those were 4 different trips, 4 trips, and every time they regassed the plane, they counted that as another trip. But it was Asia, Africa, and they had to refuel. So every time they stopped to refuel, they counted that as another leg of the trip. There are 4 trips, not 27.
That's almost like I didn't inhale.
Reclaiming my time. That's still enough trips for us to want to be able to ask the Clintons questions about their involvement with Epstein. Is that true, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, like I said, I hope that my Democrat colleagues who all of a sudden have found religion, this Congress, and now they want the Epstein files, even though over the last 4 years when they had control of Washington, D.C., you didn't hear a peep about Jeffrey Epstein out of any of them. And so I think it's going to be real telling, how my Democrat colleagues who claim to be all about the victims, how they actually vote on these contempt charges for the Clinton family. And I just think it's interesting, too, that, Mr. Chairman, my understanding is you've been working for the last 4 or 5 months to get the Clintons in here. Is that correct?
5 months, yes, sir.
Did they tell you that they would come in over December 24th and 25th, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
They have implied that they would come in, yes.
Okay, so that just goes to show that they're trying to dodge suggesting dates that they know none of us are in session. And I think that's pretty despicable. The other thing I believe that they said is that you and the ranking member could fly up to New York, but you couldn't record any of the conversations. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Does that sound like any congressional deposition you've ever heard of, sir?
No, and it would be my word against Mr. Garcia's, and I'm pretty confident I know whose side the New York Times would take, and the Washington Post would take, and MSNBC would take. And look, an investigation, you have to have transcripts, and the media wants transcripts. Well, you have to have transcripts. We don't do the notes. And the Clintons have already accused us of lying, and they accused us of saying this was an unlawful subpoena, which I appreciate Mr. Garcia admitting that it is a lawful subpoena. So I yield back.
I also want to point.
I'm gonna jump to the exchange. Comer shuts down ranking member Garcia during the heated House Oversight Committee on the hearing on Clinton. When pressed, Comer fired back. Well, listen to this.
Clearly, there's interest to negotiate from the Clinton side. Let's hear from President Clinton. Let's support this motion. I yield back.
If I may, and with all due respect, if you want to hear from President Clinton, have him come in for the deposition. They've had 5 months to do that. for whatever reason you've been unsuccessful, there's 2 more weeks before this will be voted on from full House. We will hear from Bondi in between, and we will go from there. We expect to hear from Bill Clinton. He's not above the law.
So in 2 weeks, we expect to hear from Bondi, and that's when the vote's going to happen. So the Clintons have a window. Bondi has a window. The next 2 weeks is going to say everything. So you saw Chairman Comer drawing the line in the sand. We expect to hear from Bill Clinton. He is not above the law. 5 months of stonewalling ends now. The Clintons have 2 weeks before this goes to a full House vote. They can either show up and answer questions about their Epstein connections or face contempt charges. The charges have already been handed to the House. I have a feeling that we're going to see Bill and Hillary eventually come before this committee within that 2 week time period. We've seen Hillary testify before. She is a pro at it, right? What difference does it make? Bill Clinton, he's had his time in front of committees as well. So they're going to probably show up to avoid the House vote. That's my guess. Because if it goes to the House and the full vote happens, they are done. So their last chance to avoid prison is to eventually comply with the subpoena. And if they comply, maybe this vote will then be null and void. But either way, no more games, no more delays. This is the moment we find out if America has a system of justice, one for them and one for the rest of us. Steve Bannon went to prison for defying Congress. Peter Navarro went to prison for defying Congress. Now Bill and Hillary Clinton are defying Congress about Jeffrey Epstein. We're about to see if the same rules apply. The House vote is coming in 2 weeks, and every representative will have to go on record. Either we have equal justice under the law, or we don't. It's that simple. Do you think the Clintons should be held in contempt if they refuse to testify about Epstein? Let me know what you think. And while you're at it, check out the Next News merch shop.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.